So is Noah's Ark Water Park worth visiting? That's the question we'll be answering in this video as we take a deep dive at the Wisconsin Dells Water Park that is apparently America's largest water park. Noah's Ark Water Park is home to a large variety of slides that will basically suit anybody. So is it really worth visiting? Let's find out. So starting off with their slide lineup. Now, the slides I have listed here are not all of their slides, as they have plenty of more slides available, but these, in my opinion, are the 6 standout slides at the park. So starting up, we got Scorpion's Tail. Now this is their iconic trapdoor slide that has an inclined loop in it. And let me just tell you, this ride is a complete rush. From the trapdoor with no countdown, which makes it extra suspicious, and then you just get thrusted down through that loop, which at the top gets you absolutely soaked, and then as you come back down, you get absolutely soaked again before entering the splashdown. The only problem with Scorpion's Tail is it can be a little rough on your back, as you do feel the slide joints a little bit. And then on the same slide tower as Scorpion's Tail, you have Point of No Return. Now this is your simple body slide that just goes straight down at 100 feet, and this thing is simple, but it's definitely a ton of fun. You feel yourself lifting off the slide and hydroplane across it, and this ride is just a ton of fun. Now the next slide I want to talk about is Raha. Now this is like the King Cobra kind of slide, which the best way I can explain it is it's similar to like the half pipe slides like your Colossal Curls at both Busch Gardens water parks. It's kind of like that, but it just has a bit more substance to it. And if you've ever visited Six Flags Great Adventures Hurricane Harbor in the past couple years, they used to have a slide just like this called King Cobra. And this slide, even though I never got to experience it, it looks like a ton of fun. And it looks to definitely be a must ride at Noah's Ark Water Park. And the next slide I want to talk about, Black Anaconda, is arguably the best slide in the park. And this slide is a very long water coaster that takes you through the woods. And while the uphill segments aren't anything special as it uses conveyor belts, which can be a little bit uncomfortable as you do feel the conveyor belts hook onto the raft, and it kind of is a little bit of a buzzkill. But other than that, this water coaster delivers decent airtime, but not as sustained as other newer water coasters such as Breakers Edge at Hershey Park and Krakatoa Aqua Coaster at Volcano Bay. But both those water coasters are in a completely different category, and plus this ride is much older than both those. So for what it's able to do, Black Anaconda is a very great ride. And then the next slide I want to talk about is the park's Mat Racer slide, and this is known as Quadzilla. As the name suggests, it has 4 slides side by side, and what makes Quadzilla unique is that the slides intertwine each other in like a corkscrew pattern. So you'll be like lifted up and then just thrusted down, and then repeat that like 2 or 3 times. And I've never experienced any other Mat Racer slide like this, though I know there are some other Mat Racer slides like this. And let me just tell you, it is such a weird sensation having that corkscrew pattern like that, even though I've experienced it on other slides, like for example, Caribbean Corkscrew at Adventure Island. This is definitely a much different experience, though similar at the same time, and it is a ton of fun. And then the final slide I want to talk about is Stingray. Stingray is basically one of those V-shaped half-pipe slides that has a really tight valley and crest. So like you quickly drop down the main drop, and then at the bottom, there's sort of a buzzkill where the water is, but that's just used to obviously slow you down. But one thing that makes Stingray unique is typically with these kind of slides, you either sit in normal single or double tube. What makes Stingray unique is that the double tubes have one person facing forwards and the other facing backwards, which you can't always go backwards on these kind of slides. Some parks will allow you to go backwards, but others don't. But let me just tell you, going backwards on these kind of half pipe slides is actually terrifying. In my opinion, Stingray is a must-do at Noah's Ark Water Park. Now, other than these 6 slides I mentioned, the park has plenty of other slides and other activities, like they have a couple of other body slides and family raft slides, and then also 2 lazy rivers, and there are plenty of play structures for the kids, and then they also have a wave pool too. But none of those are really all that special, at least in my opinion. To sum everything up, Noah's Ark has definitely one of the best slide lineups of any water park I've been to. Personally, the only water park that beats it out in terms of slide lineup is Volcano Bay, but I also haven't been to a ton of different water parks, so treat my rank there with a grain of salt, to be honest. But nevertheless, Noah's Ark has an incredible slide lineup, and this water park is 100% worth visiting based on their slides. So next I just want to talk about some basic info regarding Noah's Ark Water Park if you choose to visit this park in Wisconsin Dells. Now, one thing you should know is the operating calendar, as the park's open from Memorial Day to Labor Day, which is the standard water park operating schedule. Now, another thing you should definitely know with Noah's Ark is that this park can get crazy packed. Now, maybe it's just because I visited the park on a weekend in July, which in hindsight wasn't the smartest decision, but for me it was completely packed, and I wasn't able to get on certain slides like Stingray, and then also other slides I didn't mention, like for example Black Thunder and Time Machine, which both look like very good raft slides in of themselves, but I never got to experience them, sadly. And then also, and one thing you should definitely know regarding Noah's Ark is the ticket prices, as the current price for a one-day ticket is $60, and also I'm not fully sure if they still have this, but at least when I visited the park back in the summer of 2021, they had a deal where you could pay 10 extra bucks, you could add a second day onto your first day, which is what I did. So I got 2 days for an extra 10 bucks. And if that deal is still going on, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. But if you live near the Wisconsin Dells and are a regular visitor to Noah's Ark Water Park, comment down below if that deal is still in action. I'm not fully sure, and the park's website didn't say otherwise, so I'm not fully sure on that. But other than that, I think Noah's Ark Water Park is 100% worth visiting, as this water park contains arguably one of the best slide lineups of any American water park, and there's just so much to do. But yeah, just be aware this park can get crowded, so I would plan to do 2 days minimum at this park. So if you're interested in visiting Noah's Ark Water Park, I highly recommend you check out my video also about Mount Olympus, which is located literally like a 5-minute drive away from Noah's Ark, and peace.